Hello. Welcome to another edition of All or Not According to Jack with your host, Jack Toledano. As you can see from my background, it is time for another episode of Album of the Day in this or month, in this case, for the month of May 2025. So basically, this is albums that I've listened to every day for the month of May. Uh, so now you actually get a bonus. You get four extra four extra albums to talk about because last month I had to cut it off after April 26th because I was going away. So you get April 27th through May 31st, my daughter Sam's birthday. So let's get right to it. So on April 27th, I listened to an album called Machine Head. No, listen to the band Machine Head, an album called Unatoned. Uh, Basically, various metal genres, some growling vocals, but easier for me to digest. I enjoyed the heaviness. 4.5 out of 5. On Monday the 28th, um, I was in. I was listening to this album while walking the empty boardwalk of Ocean City, Maryland. A band called Ghost. Uh, the album was called Skeletor. It was just released, as was the Machine Head album, both released in April of 2025. Ghost, uh, it was okay, but did not really stand out for me. For me, lacks any kind of balls. They played it a little too safe. Despite that, it made it to the Billboard #1. Sorry, guys. 3.75 out of 5. Uh, Tuesday, April 29th. So I decided to listen to another album by Pete's favorite prog rock band, Gentle Giant. In this case, the album was called Octopus. Uh, so this one was released in December of 72. Um, so it's Pete's #1, just a little too avant garde for me. I like them when they're more straightforward, when they play it more straightforward. Gave it 3.5 out of 5. Okay, so then Wednesday, April 30th. So we shifted from, so Jason was with me. We shifted from, what the heck is it? From Ocean City, drove to Annapolis, Maryland. Then we drove to Alexandria, Virginia, stay in another hotel, listen to a few albums. So for Wednesday, April 30th, Dexy's Midnight Runners. The album was called Touraye, New Wave, July of 1982. Decent band. Of course, I love the song Come On Eileen. Okay, otherwise, I gave it 4 out of 5. So then for the Thursday, May 1st uh, album, which I also listened to with Jason, another one of his favorite bands, Radiohead. Album is called The Bends, alternate indie rock from 1995. Not sure how I would like their later experimental stuff, but I like this. 4.25 out of 5. Friday, May 2nd, Frank Zappa, Hot Rats, prog rock. Almost all instrumental, but very good. I gave that 4.25 out of 5. Another Jason album. So Saturday, May 3rd, Deerhoof, Noble and Godlike in Ruin, experimental rock. A Jason album, LOL. Okay, doesn't really grab me. 3.5 out of 5. Sunday, May 4th, a band called NRBQ. A little surprised that he brought this one up for us to listen to as we were driving home from Maryland. The album is called Scraps, mixed rock, a couple different types of rock from 1972. Good stuff, albeit very short songs, mix of rhythm and blues, folk, country rock, etc. 4.25 out of 5. I guess any band that gets involved with Captain Lou Albano can't be all bad. Too funny. All right. Monday, May 5th, the last of the Jason albums that we listened to together. Bad Religion, The Empire Strikes First, punk rock. I gave this one, this is from 2004. Bit more metalish, nice short songs, easy to digest. Gave that 4.5 out of 5. Good job, guys. Okay, so that was the last of the Jason albums for a little while. By the way, if you look at this, I bought this is for a discussion for another day, but I actually bought a mule, one of those mixed Moscow mules at Citi Field. 28 freaking dollars for that. God, how else are they going to be able to afford to pay Juan Soto? Okay, so Tuesday, May 6th, I decided to stay with another band similar to NRBQ, so I went with a Long Island local called the Good Rats. The album is called Tasty, hard rock from 1974. Good, but not spectacular. I can kind of understand why they didn't make it, but I gave them 4 out of 5. Okay, Wednesday, May 7th. Ian Anderson, Walk into Light. I was attempting to, at the time, to put an Ian Anderson 90-minute playlist together, so I had to listen to Walk into Light. Folk, prog rock. It's his first solo album from 1983. Keyboard experimentation, pretty good. Some bright spots, 4.25 out of 5. Okay, so Thursday, May 8th. So my good friend Pete had an interview with none other than Alex Lifeson of Rush, formerly of Rush. Now he's with a band called Envy of None. So I decided to listen to the album Stygian Wave, Modern Rock, released in March of 2025. Good, but not really my cup of tea. I gave it 3.5 out of 5. Female lead singer, decent, but what are you going to do? Friday, May 9th. I had never heard a Robert Plant solo CD, so I decided to listen to his first one, Pictures at 11, from June of 82. I gave this a 4 out of 5, like a lesser Zeppelin album, pretty good, not great. Saturday, May 10th, back to Ian Anderson for another one of his albums, Divinities. Now I've heard everything that Ian has to offer. Folk / prog rock from May of 95, 4 out of 5 stars, all instrumental. I was able to use 3 songs for the 90-minute mixtape. Other songs, okay. Please check out that mixtape. A lot of fun putting that together. Okay, Sunday, May 11th, I decided to stay with some prog rock, so I went back to another Genesis album. This one is called A Trick of the Tail, the first album with Phil Collins on lead vocals. Just before probably a couple of years before he decided to wimp out and go commercial. This was from February of 76. Started out very promising, lagged a little after that, but I gave it 4 out of 5. Just for your info, I consider 4 out of 5 a good rating. Just not superb, as I did give a few albums above a 4 rating. Okay, Monday, May 12th, Dave Matthews Band, Under the Table and Dreaming. Um, rock with country elements, like an East Coast Pearl Jam. Eddie Vedder clone. Didn't really excite me. Bland. Um, I gave it a 2.75 out of 5. Now, I am introducing two separate awards for albums. Uh, Basically, one of those awards I'm calling the WIGTE Award, WIIGTE, which stands for, um, all the way down on the bottom, WIGTE, when is it going to end? And you got the first one, Dave Matthews. The second one on May 13th, even worse. Captain Beefheart. Lick My Decals Off, Baby. Avant-garde rock, December of 1970. I gave this a 1 out of 5. What the fuck is this? Garbage music in its most putrid form. Another WIGTE award. Awful, awful. Gravelly voice. Don't like the instrumentals whatsoever. Why bother? Like totally like you lack talent and you totally copped out. Okay, so May 14th, I needed something to give me a pick me up. Fortunately, the band Haken did pick me up. Prog Metal, the album Fauna from March of 2023. I gave that 4.5 out of 5. Good job, guys. Not quite Symphony X, but still quite good. All right, even better. May 15th, I'm working on a 90-minute mixtape of the Allman Brothers, which I haven't finished yet. Still haven't finished yet, but I'm working on it. I'm almost there. I went back and I listened to their very first album, the Allman Brothers Band from November of '69. Southern rock, but also blues rock. Amazing first effort by the Allmans. I gave this 4.75 out of 5. Excellent job, guys. May 16th, Mountain. So this was suggested to me, but they suggested that I listen to I forget who it was, suggested I listen to Mountain. The album's called Climbing. Now, I've heard Climbing, but I haven't heard Nantucket Sleigh Ride. So I gave it a listen. January of '71. Went to the next album. Production is lacking. Good, solid band, though. So the vocals were split between Leslie West and Felix Pappalardi, I believe his name is. But good album. 4.25 out of 5. Good job, guys. May 16th. No, I'm sorry. We just talked about the 16th. May 17th. So I had to go to this. Well, I didn't have to go, but my good friend David Agins invited me to go see Zebra with him at Westbury Music Fair, which is literally a 2-3 mile drive north of where I live. Great little venue, holds about 1,800. There we saw Zebra, so I needed to cram in 2 albums. So I listened to the first album, Zebra, uh, was released March of 1983. Did not realize how good these guys are. So this gets a different award. This is a good award. I call the MRL award. Basically, MRL meaning more rotational spins, meaning I got to listen to this more often. 5 out of 5. Good job, guys. So I listened to another album by Zebra ahead of time, Sunday, May 18th. No Telling Lies, more hard rock. This was released in September of '84. Doubled up for the concert, almost as good as the debut. I gave this one 4.75 out of 5. Damn shame these guys didn't make it big. I thought they deserved it. Okay, so this was a listener recommendation by Matthew S. Berger. Thank you, Matthew. Sanctuary, Refuge Denied, classic metal. Released in April of '88. Up my alley, really nice, tight riffs. Vocals by Warrell Dane, very good. This also got the MRL award for me. More rotational spins. Another 5 out of 5. I rarely do this, but so now Zebra and Sanctuary get my both get a 5 out of 5 this month. Good job, guys. Tuesday, May 20th. Back to the Allman Brothers for another album. Win, Lose, or Draw from August of '75. Feels like the energy is gone for the time being. Highlight is High Falls, although too long for the 90-minute mixtape. I gave this 4.25 out of 5. Okay. I went upstate with Jason, middle of the week, May 21st. We listened to 2 albums, first being John Lennon Imagine, classic rock from September of '71. Not as good as McCartney and Harrison, and A Hypocrite. Song's just average. Why do I call John Lennon a hypocrite? Because he's the one who went and said that Paul writes about grainy shit music. And what did he write about on his Double Fantasy album? Sadly, we would lose John Lennon for all eternity by an assassin, but still doesn't take away from the fact that, you know what? He went in another direction than McCartney, and it just wasn't as good. 3.25 out of 5. Notwithstanding the song Imagine. Thursday, May 22nd. Another of the Jason albums that we listened to together. Santana, Supernatural. This was released in June of '99. I consider this rock with 2010's fusion. When Santana sticks to rock, I am a fan. Less enthused with the rap collaborations, but I still gave him a 4 out of 5. At least, you know what? Stuck to his guns, and he was original. Friday, May 23rd, I decided to give Scott Travis's band Judas Priest a listen. So I checked out the band Racer X, Second Heat, from February of 1987. Pretty good, but Scott Travis really traded up. LOL. 3.75 out of 5. Okay, so Styx. So May 24th, I saw that Styx had put a single out. So both my buddies Pete Pardo and Davey Cretin talked about the new Styx single. I reserve judgment on that until the album comes out. I will talk about that album right here when it comes out. I don't know where that is, but I needed to up my knowledge of Styx. So what did I do? I went back to their very first album, Styx, released in August of '72. Didn't care for the street speech, but a great early proggy effort. A lot of James Young vocals, which I liked. 4.25 out of 5. Styx 2, the year after. So I did a double shot of Styx on May 25th. This one, July of '73. Loving the proggy organ work by Mr. Dennis DeYoung. Liking early, less commercial Styx better. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5. 4.5 out of 5. Okay, May 26th. I needed to up my knowledge of Sammy Hagar just a little smidge more. I was able to put together a 90-minute mixtape of all things Sammy Hagar for an episode that I have upcoming with Tim Durling. He sent me his book earlier in the year. I read it. Uh, I listened to almost all of the Sammy Hagar albums, but I was a little lacking. So I checked out Crazy Times from September of 2022. Bit more hard rocky in spots and less party type rock. 4.25 out of 5. Okay. May 27th, 2025, on a Tuesday. So this one I grabbed from the latest episode of Sea of Tranquility Heavy Metal Primer. Uh, this one brought to me courtesy Pete Pardo and oh, what's his name? Oh boy, you're killing me, man. Okay, I had to pause and I got another case of the olds. Thank you, Mr. Chris Allo. The name I was looking for was Rich Catino. I knew it was Rich, but that last name escaped me for a minute. So uh, Rich and Pete do this show every month or so called SOT Heavy Metal Primer. Very good show. So I grabbed a band at random, a band called Tyrant's Oath. Riffs are very good. Vocals strain a bit, similar to King Diamond. Also at times like Jeff Tate. Uh, on a better note, when he sounds good. Uh, but it's classic metal. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5. Good job, guys. Way to promote these metal bands. Thank you. May 28th, one more Allman Brothers band. I went to this one. This was released February '79, Enlightened Rogues. Amazing group of songs I have never heard before. Band sounds re energized. 4.5 out of 5. Okay, May 29th, a Thursday. Ayreon. I hadn't listened to one of their albums in a while. I listened to the album that what the heck is Flight of the Migrator or something like that, which Symphony X lead singer Russell Allen was on that album. Performed a great song called what is that song called? Something of Souls. I'm looking it up. Fine. Having another attack of the olds. Uh, Dawn of a Million Souls. That's it. So yeah. So I decided to listen to another album. I wanted a little more prog metal under my repertoire. So this album is the name is in binary 01011001. Released in January 2008. A lot more vocalists in this album, a lot more vocal harmonies, taking a lot of these vocals and kind of smushing them together. Just a little too atmospheric and spacey for my liking. Not an album that I would listen to again. 2 discs, what, an hour and 45 minutes. So I gave this the Wig T Award. When is it going to end? 3.5 out of 5. Okay, so I was happened to be passing through the Sea of Tranquility guys. A few of them did a ranking the albums of Coney Hatch, band that I never heard before. So, I mean, I've heard of them. I've never heard their music. So their first album, Out of Hand, 1983. Very easy listening rock, basic rock and roll, but nothing to turn me off. They played it pretty safe. Gave them 4 out of 5. Okay, May 31st. My daughter Sam's birthday. Happy birthday, Sam. Love you. Um, so, Sammy Hagar, also named Sam, put out an album called 1013, basically to commemorate his birthday. Released in October of 2019. More of a hard rock album. Not again, not so much of a party album. This one I also gave this one 4.25 out of 5. Good job, Sammys. Okay, so that's it. You got 35 albums. Uh, what are we going to talk about in June? So we have some special people in my life have June birthdays coming up. Woo, woo. Uh, we're going to talk about Spock's Beard, Coldplay, Gene Simmons, Collective Soul, UFO, David Bowie, among others. Possibly more Spock's Beard, Little Feat, Jeff Tate, Grand Funk Railroad. You know what? And then whatever I conjure up in my head that particular day. So what I like to do is I like to formulate my wish list in advance, but then sometimes if I'm perusing Facebook or I'm perusing um, uh, Spotify itself, I'll see new releases, and what I'll do is I'll throw them into the rotation and I'll give them a listen. Sometimes I'll be riding upstate with my son Jason, and he'll put something on the radio. Sometimes I try to listen to something a little bit more modern, so I'm not totally pigeonholed into metal and prog rock and classic rock, as you know, as you saw with uh, what's that band that Jason got me to listen to? Uh, Bad Religion, for one, who I liked, by the way. Uh, there's Coldplay, who I'm going to give a listen to. Other members of my family swear by this band. Well, next month, let's see how I rate them. This is Jack Toledano speaking for All or Not According to Jack. If you like what I do, please subscribe. I dare you. Hit that subscribe button. Please help me get closer to 1,000. Uh, I, it's so funny. So I live near Old Country Road in Westbury, about, I don't know, 2 miles from where my buddy Davy Cretin used to work at that Wetson's building that became Titus Oaks Record Store. There's a building just north of Roosevelt Field. I sent my friend Ove a picture of this building. It's a glass building, and it has the it's numbered 666 Old Country Road. So I was contemplating getting a picture next to that building because I literally just surpassed 666 subscribers. Please, people, help me get far away from that. Please help me get to 1,000. I'm trying to achieve some goals here. I literally just hit 91,000 views. I'm looking to try and get to 100,000 views before the year's out. So please help me out, folks. Thanks so much. We'll talk soon. I have some special content coming up. Like I said, Tim Derling's going to join me. We're going to talk about Sammy Hagar, his book, and the 90-minute best of cassette. Thursday, I've got some special content coming, so stay tuned. Have a good one, all. Bye.